Okay, in today's tutorial, we are going to see some problems on passive filters and transformers. So the first problem is calculate the cutoff frequency for the circuit shown here. So you have an inductor in series and a resistance in parallel to the load. So since an inductor is in series, this is a low pass filter. High frequencies are going to be attenuated by this inductor. Now here since a load is connected to this resistance, so the effective resistance is going to be in parallel of these two resistances. So if I have first I have to compute the effective resistance, which is parallel of load resistance and RF, which is coming to be 47.8 ohm. Now to compute the frequency, cutoff frequency, I have this formula R divided by 2 pi L. Right. So if I substitute these values of R, that is the effective R, and L, I get 761 hertz. Okay. So at 761 hertz, if I plot P out by P in, that is power out divided by P in the y axis and frequency in the x axis, at 761 hertz I will have exactly half the power. Okay. So the power will start falling here, and then at 761 it will be exactly half the power will be available at the output. Now this is the second example. So this is again a band pass filter. Band pass filter essentially because at high frequencies this capacitor will act like a short circuit, so there will be no signal output available. At low frequency this inductor will act like a short circuit. So the resonant frequency will be given by omega is equal to 1 by root LC. So that will be the resonant frequency, and then you have at resonance. At resonance, these three components will be replaced by something known as RD, which we learnt in the theory, which is known as the dynamic resistance. So that ratio of you can use the potential divider rule, 5.5 K and RD will be here. So what will be the output voltage? So the entire output will not be available here because there is a resistance here. So so we can use the potential divider rule to find out what will be the V out at resonance. Okay. So these are some of the formulas. This is the first, the center frequency, which is omega is equal to 1 by root LC, or F0 is equal to, you have that 2 pi also coming in the denominator, 73.4 kilohertz. Okay, so that is the center frequency. Now to compute RD, you have this formula L divided by RLC. Now this is not this RL. Remember, this is the RL which is coming in series with the inductor. That's why it's written a small r L. Okay, so you compute the RD. So at resonance this entire thing gets replaced by RD. So RD value is 709.2. So the V out will be V in into RD divided by RD plus R. So this R is this. Okay, so now the potential divider rule is used to obtain the V out in this case. Okay. Also the quality factor is given by, again these are some formulas which you need to remember. Quality factor is given by 2 pi F0 L divided by RL. So you need to just substitute the values and get the value of the quality factor. And the bandwidth is this 3 dB points. From here if it is amplitude, then 1 by root 2 times these values, or if it is power, halfway power points it's known as. Okay, so so that frequency will be, if you divide it by F0 by Q, you will get the bandwidth 4773. So if you see, this is the center frequency, and so 4773 divided by 2, whatever you get, if you subtract from 74.3, you will get the lower cutoff frequency, and if you add half of the bandwidth, you will get the upper cutoff frequency. So this is the some of the standard formulas which you need to apply to get the various parameters on figure of merits of an band pass filters. Okay. This is another circuit. Now this also acts like a band stop filter. Okay. So again, at very large frequencies, okay, this inductor acts as a high impedance, and again at very small frequencies, these lower frequencies, the capacitor acts like an open frequency. So in between this will both act like a short circuit. So it will, this entire thing acts like a band stop filter. Okay. So again, there are standard formulas. These are all common to most of the circuits. So the bandwidth is given divided by R divided by L. So you substitute the value of an if you have to get the value of L, in this particular case R is given and the bandwidth is given. Okay, so you substitute the values of an R and bandwidth. Bandwidth is in when you put R and L, it has to be omega out here. So so that's why 1 pi is put here, 2 pi. Bandwidth is 100, so this becomes 200 pi. So you can compute the value of L out here. And omega 0 also, 2 pi f 0. Okay, so and these are all the standard formulas which you need to remember. So you can compute the value of C also, again with the same formula. So you need to just remember few of these formulas and how this circuit functions. Okay, this is again an RC. So this you need to find out the cutoff frequency. So at high frequencies, so it is a low pass filter. At high frequencies, this is going to short the circuit. So if you have to find out the cutoff frequency, the formula is 1 by 2 pi and Fc is equal to 1 by 2 pi Rc. So you get 720 hertz. Okay, so the Xc also if you have to find out, so again you can use these formulas, standard formulas, and it says to find out V out at 500 hertz. Okay, so if I have to find out what is the output at 500 hertz, so first I have to find out Xc by putting the value of F as 500. So I get this 6773. Then I use the potential divider like total impedance. Okay, is Z, and this is 6773. Right, so the so you have to find out this is Z, right? This is the total combination of these two, that is R square plus Xc square, and Xc at 500 is 6773. So we use this formula to get the output voltage for at 500 hertz. Okay, so at very high frequencies, this is going to be short, and at low frequencies you are going to get an V out is equal to V in. So at 500 hertz, what is the value? So you need to find out Xc first by putting the value of that particular frequency in this equation, and then use this formula to obtain the V out. Okay. Now this is an LT Spice simulation. So at the end of the class, I will just do this simulation and show you this is the output and how this falls below. Similarly, a second order filter also, we said when you have a second order filter, if this RC and RC are same, it will give the exactly the same cutoff frequency. The only difference is in having a two stage of low pass filter or a second order filter, it is that it will now, instead of having a 20 dB per decade slope, it is going to have 40 dB per decade slope. Okay. Similarly, you can the same circuit, instead of an R and C like this, we can implement the same circuit by L and R also. Okay, for the same frequency. So in this case, again you can compute the frequency in like this. So if you keep R constant, and if you try to find out the value, it will be 1 Henry. Okay, these two circuits, they behave exactly the same. So I will demonstrate this phenomena also. Right. So so before that, let us take two more problems based on transformers. Here for a magnetic circuit on no load condition, the core power is given as 16 watts, apparent power is 20 VA. E1 max, this is the voltage which is applied in the primary, and N is equal to 200 turns. Assume sinusoidal flux. Find the power factor, ion current and magnetizing current. Okay. Now it is an like no load is put on the secondary side. Okay, so no load. So ideally, when we apply a voltage, no current should flow. But then here in this case, 16 watt of power is being dissipated. That is because of the two losses, right? One is the ion current and the magnetizing current. Ion current is going to be in phase component, and magnetizing current is going to be the out of phase component, right? So you have an voltage, the power, apparent power is given as 20, So and total power, the core loss power is given as 60. So you can get the power factor, right? 60 divided by 20, you will get 0.8. Now this is the, now with this we can compute the VRMS again is given as 275, right? And so if you have to if you divided by no, V max, that is the peak value is given as 275. So to find out the RMS, we divide it by root 2. So I get the V RMS as 195.4. Right now, with that V RMS, and I have 16 and the power factor. With this, I get the current, which is in phase current, okay, which is nothing but the ion current, right? So that is going to be the total current, right? VI, and then with the total current, if I multiply it by cos phi, I get the ion current, and if I multiply it with cos theta, I get the out of phase current. So if I take a square root of this square plus this square, I will get this total current. So this is the in phase component, this is the out of phase component, okay. So this is a problem on transformer. Similarly, this is another example on transformer. Here it says a 50 hertz 2 winding transformer. So this is the rating is given as 3 kVA, 200 volt and 100 volt output, okay. That means it's a step down transformer, okay. The transformer is connected as a step up auto transformer to deliver 330 volt. That means from the secondary side you are feeding in the voltage and you are taking the output from the primary side, okay, to deliver 330 volt, okay. So 330 volt is being taken from the primary side to a resistive load where the input is when the input is on a 220 volt source, okay. Assuming the transformer is ideal, find out the value of the load resistance for which the rated current will flow in each winding, okay, and the power delivered. So now first we need to find out what is the current condition. Here it says the rated, so it is 3 kVA is the rating of the transformer. So 3, and then the output voltage when the input is 220 volts, so 220. So on the where we are giving the input, the current will be right 13.25, and on the other side, okay, it says ki 220 volt, it is 110 volt, okay. So you have to put 110, so you get 27.3. so these are the rated currents in the primary and the secondary, okay. Now it says the next question is another the transformer is connected to as a step up auto transformer to deliver 330 volt to a resistive load when the input is from a 220 volt source, okay. Where actually 110 was there, we are supplying it with 220 source, right. So now the current now for the resistance of 330, now resistance of 230, right. Okay, I have putting the rated current out here, so I will get the load resistance to be 12.1 ohm, okay, because it says ki what is the value of the resistance for a full load condition. So I am dividing it with the rated current out here, so I am getting it 12.1 ohm. So the total power can be computed by 13.25 into 220, which is coming out to be 300 watts. Okay, so now on the secondary side, similarly, I2 can be computed by P load by V load. Okay, this is okay, this is done. This is the next problem. A 460 volt to 400 volt transformer has a series leakage resistance of 37.2 ohms as referred to the high voltage side. On the higher voltage side, this has got an leakage resistance of 37.2 ohms, okay. Leakage reactance, okay. So this is the reactance. A load is connected on the low voltage side and it's observed to have 25 kilowatt unity power. That is, a resistive load is connected on the low voltage side, and the voltage is measured to be 450. Calculate the corresponding voltage and power factor as measured in the high voltage terminal, right. So again 25 kilowatt. So what is the I2? 25 divided by 450. Okay, this voltage is 450 instead of 460. 450 is been monitored. So you get this as the now this is the secondary. Okay, secondary is this 460 side. So you get this second. The primary current will be 460 divided by that you got to multiply it with the this 460 2400 divided by 460 divided by 2400, right, because the voltage is higher, so current will be lower. So you have 460 divided by 2400 into, so this is the primary current, right. Now the voltage will be because of two. One, because of this current which is flowing I1 in the primary, and on the higher side this is the reactance which is available, plus V2 dash. Okay, V2 dash is the reflection of this of the secondary voltage into the primary, right. So the secondary voltage gets reflected as an so to find out V2 dash, what is the secondary voltage which is getting reflected into the primary. So 2400 divided by 460 into 450. So 3247.8. This is the voltage which gets reflected into the primary because of the secondary, right. So it is 2400. It is in the actual case instead of 460 you have 450. So you have slightly lesser voltage being reflected into the 2400 side, okay, which is the prime. Now this is the primary, so that is this, and also there is a current flowing in the primary which we computed here as 10.65, and that because of that current, and there, now here on the high voltage side there is an reactance available. So you need to multiply it with J37.2. So you have to do these two together. Okay, this is because of the secondary transformer coil, and this is because of the I into reactance drop. Okay, so this is the total voltage which is available in the primary side. Okay, so this is how we do, and then power factor can be from here 9.58. So you take a cos of 9.58, so you get the power factor. Okay, so with this we come to an end of the problems. So yeah, is it okay, Gagan? Is there any doubts?
No doubt, sir.
Okay, so let me show you some examples. Okay. So this is if you see an normal LC circuit. So if I do the simulation, I do an I am sweeping the AC voltage. Okay, so and I find the magnitude. So if you see this green line, so you will find that at around 470 it is this is on a 0 dB, around minus 3 dB you will get it around 470, the same circuit. Now if I try to increase this capacitance to 47, okay, and then iron. So now it has moved towards the left. Okay, similarly if I increase this to 470, it will move towards the right. Right. So so this is how we can okay, I have to do it to move it towards the right. I have to put it 0.47. So it has moved towards the right. So this is how we can see the response of an filter out here. We can give a sinusoidal signal also. So if I say let me revert back this value to 4.7 first, 4.7. okay. So yeah, here you will find it was 47 earlier. Okay, so the cutoff frequency was around 700. Now if I do an transient analysis and if I just give a stop time of say 1 say 10 milli, and I given frequency of only 100 hertz, and see you will find the 100 volts I am giving 1 volt signal. So, the entire 1 volt this signal comes here without any attenuation, right. Now, if I increase this frequency to around 720, okay, and if I do the simulation, so you will find this is around on 720 millivolt to so this amplitude is almost 1 by root 2 times of 1, and if I further increase this frequency is say to 30 kilohertz or something, and if I run this simulation, so you will find it's only 20 millivolt to 20 millivolt. So, the entire signal has got attenuated, whereas I am giving here 1 volt, I have only changed the frequency. So, the amplitude has died down now. Okay, so it is getting attenuated. So, this is how the filters work. So, I can show you some one more simulation.
So in the previous example,
Yeah.
what was that? Why was the start bit elevated than the other parts, sir?
Okay.
Like it was forming one curve.
No, it takes sometimes it takes time for it to get stabilized when you give an step input signal. Okay, so that is the reason. Okay, initial
Okay, sir.
the first step it will overshoot and it will come down, right. So those things can be taken care of in active filters, which I discussed in the theory class. Okay, so because that is just slightly out of scope out here for this particular course, so I didn't cover active because you need to learn about that is the in the transient response you will have such overshoots. Okay, so that can be eliminated with active filters. Okay, so I told about that, and then okay, now this is an filter. A two-stage filter. So, if I do a simulation and if I plot the first one, so this is how the filter is behaving. Now, I have two set of filters which is cascaded. Now, if I do that, this blue line, if you see this is the green line which is going there. Now, this is the blue line. So, this is 20 dB per decade. This roll off is much better. It is 40 dB per decade. So, it has got much better selectivity. Okay, so that is the advantage of having a second order filter. And also I have one last example. Here the same two circuits you can design and filter either using RC or LC. Okay, so in VLSI circuits generally inductors takes a lot of space on the chip area. So generally filters are designed using capacitors, whereas capacitors they don't take that kind of space. Okay, and also when we use L, you have when you make coils, you will have some series resistance which degrades the quality factor. So it is always capacitors are the ones which are more preferred, but for a theoretical purpose, see this is the response and this is the response is exactly matching. So for as far as theory is concerned, you can have an only the positions get swapped. Okay, so if the resistance is in, if the inductor is in series here, it will be in parallel here. If it is in parallel here, it will become series there. Okay, so these are some insight into the filters. Okay, so that's all for today. So Monday we'll have an exam. Okay, thanks a lot.